I saw Ben McKenzie's new documentary, Everyone is Lying to You for Money. The documentary follows him as he learns about cryptocurrencies and how he advocates that they are a scam. Have you seen this documentary? What did you think? Drop a comment down below. Ben is an actor with an economics degree. He wrote, directed, and produced the film. As someone who is interested in how finance films use filmmaking techniques to explain financial concepts, I was curious to see how an actor would approach this topic and how it might compare with other finance films. So, let's recap the movie and discuss if it worked as an explanation of cryptocurrency. The film opens with Ben saying that money is trust. Then there is a title sequence where the word scam is emphasized. Ben talks about how he's still known as the guy from the OC. Now, I never saw the OC. I just know that the OC took Adam Brody away from Gilmore Girls, but that's a discussion for another day. Early in his career, Ben's friend Dave told him to invest in a medical company. Ben ended up losing money on the investment, and it taught him this lesson: never invest in what you don't understand. Fast forward to Dave talking to Ben about crypto. Ben doesn't understand crypto, but with his economics degree, he thinks he can figure it out. Ben hires a film crew to follow his journey to learn about crypto. He goes to a Bitcoin conference where, surprise, Bitcoin stops working as a form of payment to vendors at the conference. El Salvador is the first country to declare Bitcoin as a legal currency. Yet Ben cannot find anyone at the market who uses it. Ben is convinced that regular people are losing money to crypto. Ben learns about Celsius, a cryptocurrency claiming to give money back to its users instead of to shareholders. Ben visits with the founder at South by Southwest 2022, pretending to be a gullible actor interested in crypto. He gets several non-answers to his questions. In Florida, a crypto skeptic explains how crypto scams work. Insiders control both buying and selling, which raises the price of a coin. Other users join this bandwagon, but then the insiders cash out, crashing the value of a coin. After Celsius crashes, Ben talks with regular people who invested in it. With the crash, they lost significant money. Several cryptocurrencies fail. Enter Sam Bankman-Fried, who says he can save crypto. He opens FTX, an exchange with multiple cryptocurrencies. He starts pouring money into political donations. Ben sets up an interview with Sam. Now, I saw in interviews about the documentary that this was one of the highlights of the film, and how awkward the interview was as Ben asked difficult questions. To me, it didn't seem that awkward. Sam didn't seem flustered or annoyed by the questions. Sam says that a good use case for crypto is cleaner payments, but Ben says that people don't use it for payments right now. Sam agrees that people are holding crypto as an asset. Ben says that crypto is gambling. Later, FTX crashes. In December 2022, Ben testified on a panel in Congress, along with pro-crypto businessman of Shark Tank fame, Kevin O'Leary. Ben emphasizes that regular people have lost money, and how crypto is built on a story about the American dream. It's a story with enormous power. Sam Bankman-Fried goes on trial, and Ben explains how 2 lines of code allowed Sam to borrow from users' accounts. Oh, and many of Sam's political donations were illegal. Ben writes a book about what he's learned. As the movie draws to a close, he says that he's learned so much, yet had less of an impact than he would have hoped. What filmmaking techniques did Everyone is Lying use to teach about financial concepts, and were they effective? Ben structured the film as a story about his journey to learn about crypto, and it was easy to follow. We learned about crypto as he learned about crypto. It was effective, and I'll talk more about that in the next section. While Ben does have moments where he explains or narrates, It's juxtaposed with interviews. Whenever Ben explains aspects of how crypto's code works, it's illustrated by an arcade game, similar to Donkey Kong. This emphasizes the gamification aspect of crypto. People think they can win this game. I like the connection between crypto's code and video game code. However, there was one aspect where I felt the documentary failed. It does not spend a lot of time explaining the underlying technology of crypto. At the beginning, he talks about how Satoshi wrote the code for Bitcoin and how he created a limit on the number of Bitcoin. And that's pretty much it. There are other references to code and how people trust in the code of cryptocurrency, but never a thorough explanation of how it works. I can see why it may have been left out, though. Perhaps it's in the book, and perhaps the runtime didn't allow for it. Perhaps other documentaries cover it, whereas crypto as a scam might not be as well covered. Perhaps Ben felt it was more important to focus on crypto as a scam than to focus on the technology. Because if it is a scam, then it might not matter exactly how the technology works. And when Ben interviewed people in the industry, they kept talking about the promise of crypto and the future uses of crypto, instead of how it works or how it's beneficial right now. It does a great job with the scam part, not so much with the explanation of crypto part. So, how does Everyone is Lying to You compare with other finance films? To be fair, this is a documentary and not a fictionalized film. Ben says early in the documentary that cryptocurrency was created as a response to the 2008 financial crisis. So, we'll compare it with films about the subprime mortgage crisis. This documentary reminded me of The Big Short in several ways. We follow Ben as he is learning about the concepts, just as The Big Short follows its characters as they learn about the impending 2008 financial crash. Ben talks with people in the industry who are fully invested in crypto despite the warning signs. Just like the Big Short characters talk with people in the banking industry who can't see the impending crisis. It's not just similar to The Big Short in structure, it's also similar in style. Both films feature frenetic editing of relevant TV interviews, newsreels, and more. The lack of explanation of crypto's code very much reminded me of Margin Call and the 2008 financial crisis, where Margin Call does not explain the exact formula for mortgage-backed securities or the exact math of how it was flawed, but rather relies on the impact of the information. How does Everyone is Lying compare with one of the biggest finance documentaries, Inside Job? I will say I think Everyone is Lying to You is better narratively. Inside Job is teaching, Everyone is Lying is showing. Everyone is Lying to You for Money made me realize something. Ben says he's haunted by Matt Damon's Crypto.com commercial. I realized Matt Damon narrated Inside Job, a celebrated documentary about the 2008 crash. Then he goes on to be in a crypto commercial? How did this happen? There is so much more that I would love to talk about with this documentary, but we'll end here. If you liked this video, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.